Good afternoon and welcome to the news. My name is Mazino Appeal. Now let's begin forthwith by telling you that the Independent National Electoral Commission says the petition seeking to recall Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, senator representing Kogi Central, failed to meet the constitutional threshold. INEC made this announcement on Thursday via its official X handle. The commission cited sections 96, that's sections 69A of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which outlines the conditions for recalling a lawmaker, noting that the petition failed to fulfill these requirements. Speaking at her homecoming rally on Tuesday, Akpoti-Uduaghan accused the electoral body of bias in her recall. On March 24, some members of the Kogi Central constituency submitted a petition to INEC requesting the recall of Akpoti-Uduaghan. INEC, however, said the petitioners did not provide their contact details. Now to politics. The People's Democratic Party, the PDP, candidate for the 2024 Edo State governorship election, Akpoti-Uduaghan, says he is heading to the Court of Appeal to challenge the Edo State Tribunal verdict, affirming Monday Okpebholo as governor. A three-member panel led by Justice Wilfred Buchi dismissed Uduaghan's petition due to a lack of merit and the failure to present competent witnesses to substantiate the claims of non-compliance with the Electoral Act. Uduaghan called on supporters and other party faithfuls to keep the peace and seek the rule of law in their fight for justice. He also said he had instructed his legal team to proceed to the Court of Appeal to challenge the tribunal decision, which he considered a huge travesty of justice. Now let's head to River State, where the chairman of the All Progressives Congress in the state, Tony Okocha, has called for the probe of suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his loyalists over the demolition of the State House of Assembly complex and alleged misappropriation of funds. Okocha based his call on the statement by former head of service in the state, George Nweke, who alleged at the weekend that Fubara sponsored the bombing of the Assembly complex to avert his impeachment by lawmakers. But Fubara's special advisor on electronic media, Jerry Omotsugua, dismissed the probe call. Omotsugua described the head of service allegations as childish, incoherent, and ill-prepared. Now, in a deadly attack in Sokoto State, notorious bandit leader Bello Turji and his men killed 11 farmers in Lugu Town, Isa local government area. The incident occurred on Wednesday at Turji, as Turji was returning from a Sala visit. Residents had alerted security agencies about his planned moves, but no effective response was made. Local sources report that Turji's group passed through several communities after celebrating Sala before brutally attacking the farmers. A local security official confirmed Turji's action but denied any Sala celebrations in his jurisdiction. Turji also killed a vigilante leader in Tozai village. Efforts to confirm the attack with military officials remain unsuccessful. Still on security matters, about 100 children lost their fathers during the March 28 gruesome killing of 16 hunters bound for Kano State in Uromi, Edo State. Community leaders disclosed this to News Central television crew following their visits to Turankawa and Surarai villages in Bankure and Kibia local government areas of Kano State. They say that the children are spread across several communities in Rano, Kibia, Garko, and also Bankure local government areas of the state. News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu here reports.
Journey out of the Kano City Center is to help us unveil the true identity of the 16 hunters allegedly killed by a mob in Uromi, Edo State on March the 28th. We touched down at Turankawa and was greeted with visible signs of mourning as bereaved families continue to mourn their husbands, sons, and brothers recently killed. Some of those mourning recount the last moments spent with their loved ones.
There is no good thing he didn't do for us. He provided clothes for celebrations. He sent us money. He called me 4 times the day they left. When they were in the car, he asked me to pray for him. That was the last time I heard from him. We've had 3 children together, Zaharaddini, Musa, and Ummi, also called Fati. We've had 2 children together. May his soul rest in peace.
Information received reveals that 2 among the women who lost their husbands were pregnant. One went into forced labor, while the other hesitantly looked towards an uncertain future. I am here in Angonsari, home of Isa Bala, one of the victims that was killed in Uromi, one of the hunters that was lynched. And I'm here with his wife. I was told that immediately the woman heard about the demise of her husband, she went into labor and gave birth to this bouncing baby girl.
When I heard about his demise, I was so sad because he is the one man that takes care of me and the children, including their schooling, and now he is dead. I don't know what to do. My children are 6 in numbers. His death was shocking to me, and I need justice. He is our source of feeding. He clothed me and my children. Look at me with this pregnancy. I don't know what will happen.
Community leaders in charge of peace negotiations with government and security agencies say that despite the visit of the Edo State Governor and his Kano State counterpart, the threat of a reprisal is still imminent as over 100 children are now fatherless, awaiting justice. They were humiliated, dehumanized, making their wives widows, making their children fatherless. We recorded over 100 children who lost their fathers from this bad encounter. If justice is not done, we are going to take the laws into our hands. With assurance from the Edo and Kano State governments of adequate compensation for the families of the victims, many are calling on the grieving families to give peace a chance and let the law take its course. In Kano for News Central, Emmanuel Bagudu.
Nigerian police force has reiterated its commitments to accountability, stating that any officer found guilty of misconduct will face disciplinary measures. The force public relations officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, made this known as the police marked its maiden edition of the National Police Day across the country. Adejobi called on citizens to actively support and participate in community policing so as to enhance efforts aimed at combating crime.
We want members of the public to understand that this is what we do in the police. We don't cover any erring policeman. We identify and we deal with them. Nigeria Police still remains a lead agency in all areas. I stand to be corrected that we identify the bad acts and we punish them appropriately. Evidence are everywhere, and you can actually lay your hand on anything to show that. So we want more support. We want more cooperation from members of the public. Policing is all inclusive and it encompasses all areas, all sectors. Every sector of our society must partake and be involved in policing structure of this country.
Away from that now, tragedy struck on Thursday morning when a lag ferry vessel carrying passengers suddenly burst into flames at the Sokoto ferry terminal in Ikorodu, leaving several people injured. The incident occurred around 6 a.m. amid heavy traffic congestion caused by the closure of Independence Bridge at Ahmadu Bello Way Marina. The Lagos State Waterways Authority confirmed the incident in a statement from its Public Affairs Unit. The agency confirmed that all passengers and crew members were safely evacuated, though 4 passengers sustained minor injuries and are currently receiving medical treatments. LASWA also assured the public that a thorough investigation is underway in collaboration with Lag Ferry and other stakeholders to determine the cause of the fire. And staying in Lagos State, where the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has apologized to Lagosians for the severe traffic congestion experienced on the island axis on Wednesday. The governor also cleared the air on the information about reopening the bridge allegedly made by the Federal Ministry of Works. Governor Sanwo-Olu explained that the repair work on the Independence Bridge at Bonny Camp, which had been delayed for 3 years, is necessary to ensure the bridge is safe and functional. He urged residents to be patient as the work continues. The governor suggested that to ease the traffic, those who do not need to leave early in the morning should consider waiting until later in the day.
In some part of the area for just, a couple of weeks and be able to plan your journey time and be able to, see what are the alternatives, you can bring about, ensure that you can communicate, you can do, work from home, work remotely, just to ease, the traffic and just to ease all of us coming out. If you don't need to come out at 7 o'clock, wait till 10 o'clock. Let the people that need to come out at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, let them come out. You defer your time 2-3 hours, so they can see that even the approach from Marina to Victoria Land is free. There's no, on the counter on this bridge, there's no movement at all. We're also thinking of another alternative. Can we do a counter flow from here? We're looking at that, but it also needs a lot of excavation. We are going to break a lot of things, and we don't know if that also will be fully effective, but we will consider that in the next 1 or 2 days and see the effect of a counter flow. Well, with all due respect to my brother, my friend, the Honorable Minister, we are the ones on ground right here, and you can see for yourself. It's not about name mention or blame game or anything. We are in the same government, and we know that the intendment are good intentions. Like I keep saying, it is because there is a disaster for over 3 years. If you have a contract for over 3 years and you've not been able to fully implement the thing, if anything happens, you will be one of the people that will say that, why did you not take this difficult decision? Everybody wants a bridge. Nobody wants it in front of his house. That's always a. If you take a decision that we need to build a bridge, we have to build a bridge, irrespective of if it's in front of your house. That's the solution. You come in here, you're seeing that they've started in the past 2-3 days. They've done a lot of excavation. In fact, we're looking at water right underneath. So even for them to attempt to want to.
And now we go live to our correspondent who is at the Independence Bridge, where the road closure has been effected by the Lagos State government. Bernard Akede is there currently. Bernard, how are you? Good afternoon. Please, if you don't mind, do give us an update on the situation.
Well, Mazino, there is an update of the situation, and an interesting one, I might add. Now, just like you heard in that particular clip, the governor mentioned, the governor said, well, I asked the governor in the last interview what he thought about the directive of the Honorable Minister of Works, that's David Umahi, where Minister Umahi said that this bridge where we're standing on should be open immediately to traffic. Now, the belief is that he didn't understand or didn't realize that the bridge had been dug already, and so opening it to traffic would be practically impossible immediately. And then the governor did speak to that, saying, well, they are the ones on the ground. It's not about playing the blame game, but what needs to be done needs to be done. Well, a few hours from then, the Honorable Minister did arrive from Abuja here himself. He just spoke to the press and he's gone. And guess what? The minister has overturned what the governor said earlier. Now, the minister, after he spoke to us, the minister said that he's going to be here in Lagos, monitoring the works at this bridge, and he would ensure that in the next 3 days, that's between today and Sunday, that this gully, which has been dug already to address the issue of this part of the bridge, will be filled up with sharp sand and other materials to ensure that this place will once again be open for traffic temporarily for 2 weeks. I'll take that again. The minister has overturned what the governor said earlier, and he has stated that this gully will be filled within the next 3 days temporarily, so that this bridge will be open for traffic for yet another 2 weeks. Now, I asked the minister as well that the governor stated earlier that this bridge will be shut for 2 months, pending when work will commence and conclude, before it will then be open for traffic. And I asked if he intends to have some temporary works done here in the next 2 weeks. Will the closure period still remain 2 months? Well, he didn't give a definite answer to that. He only said that we would look and see what exactly will happen within these 2 weeks of temporary reopening of the bridge. So that's the interesting thing that's happened. Now, the minister also did say that before such information goes out to the public, it should get to him first. Before the permanent secretary puts out information concerning works like these, that those information to get to him first. He was not aware of this kind of information that was put out to the public, and that in further cases that there could be sanctions. Well, we wait to see if there will be any sanctions meted out to the person or persons who put out the information about the closure of the bridge pending when the repair of this independent bridge will take place. Well, what we know now is that the closure of this bridge that was supposed to be, or that is for a good cause, led to a lot of traffic yesterday, pulled the attention of the minister all the way from Abuja to Lagos, and he has overturned what the governor said earlier today. So it's looking like the drama concerning the Independence Bridge may still continue. All
right, I've got one question regarding the traffic situation. What is the traffic situation looking like on the island currently?
Well, I'd gladly say that the traffic situation has clearly improved from what we saw yesterday. Let me see if I can turn to my left now, so you'll see on the left-hand side of the bridge yesterday, that's the side of the bridge coming into the island from the mainland, CMS and beyond, was completely shut down yesterday, but you can see it's free-flowing traffic. You can even count the number of cars moving there. However, I'm being told that heading to the island, to the mainland, I beg your pardon, on the other side of this axis, that's from 3rd Mainland Bridge and beyond, that there's a bit of traffic there, but it's caused not because of the bridge entirely, but largely because it's close of day and rush hour traffic. However, what you can see on the extreme right there now is people going on foot. Ordinarily, you would have had vehicular movement on this axis heading into CMS, Echo Bridge, and all the way down to the mainland. But what is happening now is the vehicles cannot come this way anymore. So people who work and live around this area heading down to the mainland have to make some kind of journey on foot via this bypass until they get further down, where they can eventually join buses that are parked there waiting to pick up passengers.
Now, Bernard, this is the path, this is the route where people coming from off of the rail actually would use to enter into the island. So it's very worrying to think that this is actually a small problem, or rather a very big problem when it comes to the traffic situation. However, regarding the dug-up gully there on the bridge and the Minister of Works actually saying that it will be filled up, what about the concerns of safety of the bridge? Will that be pushed on to a latter time or period? We already have noted that it was postponed for 3 years previously. So what happens if this, if the minister's words are executed?
Sorry, Mazino, could you take that again? I didn't get the entire question.
I'm going to summarize. I'm concerned for the safety of the bridge. If the bridge is being maintained because of safety concerns, and the minister wants to fill up that gully so that it will aid traffic situation, what happens to those concerns of safety?
I want to believe that the minister is well informed and is a professional when it comes to things like this, because when he came, he was speaking to the chief contractor here, and he was giving his own suggestions as to what could possibly be done to ensure that, you know, safety measures will be put in place, and that whatever temporary measures he is suggesting will be best for commuters and for transporters. But I totally understand your concern, which also are my concerns. It's about safety. If this bridge eventually, or this gully eventually, is filled up within 3 days and then open to traffic for 2 weeks, will it be safe enough for the kind of traffic inflow and outflow that we see between Lagos Island and Lagos Mainland for 2 weeks? I mean, I'd like you to take a close look at this gully that has been dug already. I mean, it is scary, to be honest, but well, the experts have spoken, I want to believe, and if they say it is a go, if they say that filling it up within 3 days can give it the strength of 2 weeks, then who are we to doubt what they have said?
Well, Bernard, you're not an engineer, neither am I, but we'll wait and see, and we hope for the best. Thank you very much, Bernard. We'll take a break now. When we return, Enugu government declares treatment free in state hospitals. Details of this and more after the break. Stay with us. You're welcome back to Health Matters now. The Enugu state government has asked residents to report any healthcare facility charging for anti-malaria drugs and testing within the next 2 years. The Commissioner for Health, Professor Ikechukwu Obi, gave the directive during the official flag-off of the State Malaria Elimination Initiative, supported by the Islamic Development Bank Lives and Livelihood Fund project. Professor Obi revealed that the government had established a whistleblower policy to ensure that malaria treatment remained free. He stated that the government's efforts were to provide free malaria treatment and testing to ensure healthcare services reach people. Now, the governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mutfwang, has described as embarrassing the statistics showing the state ranks above average in Nigeria with high maternal and neonatal mortality rate. Assuring that everything possible will be done to bring this record to a minimal level, Governor Mutfwang maintained that in a very short while, Plateau will reverse the trend and reduce maternal child mortality. News Central's Chizoba Nyanwe has more on this.
Data from the National Demographic and Health Survey indicate that maternal mortality ratio in Plateau State has been estimated to be around 710 of 100,000 live births. It is based on this statistic that Governor Mutfwang has pledged his administration's commitment to improving healthcare in the state.
Plateau State will go below the national average in terms of mother and child mortality. We will continue to do our best to make sure that we provide the best medical care that is affordable to our people, especially the poor and the vulnerable.
Inspecting some health facility projects within the Jos Bukuru metropolis, the governor says none of them will be abandoned.
We will not abandon any project. What you saw at the Plateau Specialist Hospital were projects that were started by the last PDP administration of Governor Jang, but they were abandoned. I'm glad that today we have a first-class medical laboratory that we can boast of anywhere among laboratories in this country and even beyond. So we are investing in healthcare, we're investing in all the aspects of our human endeavors, not only to preserve those assets, to improve the quality of life, but to lay a foundation for greater revenue generation for the government so that we can deliver more services to the people of Plateau State.
If due attention is given, then major causes of these avoidable deaths will be abated.
These women will die simply because they do not deliver in the clinics. They die from bleeding and other causes like infection. So, sir, remember the memo we sent to you, you approve it immediately. And we were able to produce 48,000 safe delivery kits, or what is called a local balance mama kits. These kits contain almost all that the pregnant woman will need to deliver.
Family planning services, antenatal care, postnatal care, and demonstration of hygiene practices, among others, would go a long way in making this a reality on the plateau. In Jos, Plateau State, for News Central, Chizoba Aniuwi.
A remarkable achievement in the world of art has once again put Nigeria on the global map. Kanye Yachuku Okeke, a young autistic artist, has set a Guinness World Record for creating the largest art canvas in the world by an individual. His inspiring journey was celebrated at the Eagle Square, Abuja, as Nigeria joined the world to mark the World Autism Day. News Central's correspondent Sumaya Abubakar here reports.
Young Nigerian Kanye Yachuku Okeke has lived with autism all his life. Despite what many see as a disability, Okeke has defied the odds to achieve what many believe is impossible. His work, a vibrant expression of creativity and resilience, birthed through diligence and hard work, has earned him international recognition.
I would like to take this opportunity to extend my heartfelt congratulations to Kanye and to his wonderful supportive family who have supported and encouraged this young man along the way. This achievement is not just your success, but the success of our country and really the success of our continent and our collective aspiration.
It was significant for us, and we did it on purpose, that this painting will be revealed on World Autism Day for the world to see what these children can do They are specially gifted, and what they need is tolerance, inclusion, and tolerance from everyone.
For my husband and I, we gave everything we had, because for us, it's to encourage Kanye, it's to encourage his talent. We are ready to sell everything we have to ensure that Kanye realizes his dream. It was hard, excruciatingly hard. It took everything from us. But today, it was worth it.
The World Autism Day event also serves as a platform to raise awareness with autism, encouraging inclusivity and support for individuals on the spectrum.
In the case of children who have disabilities, we should, for example, as here the media, demand for a better inclusive education around the country, better infrastructure that can allow children with disabilities to attend to school, but also creating awareness among communities to be more inclusive for children.
Autism is not condemnation. An autistic child can be converted to the best use if he's given care and nurture. Most times people treat autistic children as disabled children. But you can now see that there is ability in disability.
As Okeke receives his Guinness World Record certificate, his story stands as a powerful message, and possibility is truly a myth. His journey is proof that talent knows no limits, and the world is watching as he continues to inspire. In Abuja, for News Central, Sumaya Abubakar.
U.S. President Donald Trump has imposed a 10% tariff on all imports into the United States, with even steeper rates for what he deems the worst offenders. The move has sent shockwaves worldwide, with the European Union calling it a major blow to the world economy, while China threatens retaliation. Australia's government has expressed disappointment. UK leader Keir Starmer acknowledged the economic impact, vowing to measure response. For decades, Trump has championed tariffs as a tool to strengthen the U.S. economy, now betting his presidency on it. The announcement caused markets to drop globally, with slight recoveries later. We're now going to short break, and when we get back, we'll be joined by our international correspondent, Afia Hagen, on this report. We're now going to be joined by international correspondent Afia Hagen as we discuss the issues and tariff cuts, or rather imposition, by the U.S. president. Afia, you're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon on the news. So here, President Donald Trump's long-awaited Liberation Day announcement. It brought sweeping tariffs across the board. So who has come off best and worst, if you don't mind telling?
A minimum level of 10% tariffs applied to most countries across the board, including the UK, where I am. That comes into force from the 5th of April. Now, roughly 60 countries were deemed the worst offenders because apparently they had unfair trade prices with the US, and they've each received their own individual tariff rate. So China, for instance, their tariff rate is 54%, Japan is 24%, and the EU gets 10%. And a 25% tariff was placed across the board on foreign-made cars coming into the United States. So a little bit of pick and choose there on what Donald Trump fancies and what tariff he thinks you deserve.
So what has been the reaction to the tariffs from both world markets and world leaders?
Well, world markets, first of all of them have opened down. The European stock markets this morning, London, Paris, Berlin, all opened down with the tariff announcements. The FTSE 100 down around 1.4%. Germany's DAX took the biggest hit, falling by 2%. Major stocks in the Asia Pacific opened lower on Thursday morning as well. Japan's index, the Nikkei, was down by 4% this morning. The US stocks as well. The bell sounded on Wall Street about an hour ago. Now, the Dow Jones falling 2.8%, the S&P 500 3.3% lower, and the Nasdaq, which is dominated by tech stocks, fell by 4.4%. World leaders around the world have been giving their reaction as well. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said the trade war was not in the interest of the UK, said that the tariffs was disappointing, and said that retaliatory tariffs are not off the table. The EU chief, Ursula von der Leyen, said the consequences will be dire for millions around the world, and said the EU is finalizing its package of response to Trump's tariffs. China has promised resolute countermeasures as well. The French Prime Minister said the Trump tariffs have created a catastrophe, for both France and the US. Norway's Prime Minister says the government will negotiate with the US on tariffs. Thailand's Prime Minister saying the same thing. Vietnam's Prime Minister saying that they're setting up a task force to deal with US tariffs. Spain's Economic Minister saying the country wants to meet a negotiated situation. South Africa's presidency saying that the new US tariffs affirm the urgency to negotiate a new bilateral and mutually beneficial trade agreement with Washington. So lots of reaction from world leaders there. They're mostly saying that this is negative, some saying that they will negotiate, and a lot of them preparing their own retaliatory tariffs as well.
Diverse reactions indeed. But what about the everyday consumer? How have they been affected by the tariffs?
Well, prices could rise, or in some cases, prices could fall. When a tariff goes up, it's the person that imports the goods, if they're paying more for it, traditionally will pass that cost onto the consumer, but there's real uncertainty on what that may bring. People's jobs could be affected. It's estimated that here in the UK, 25,000 jobs could be at risk, 500,000 jobs at risk in the United States. You could also see interest rates staying high or getting higher. Here in the United Kingdom, rates are currently at 4.5%, and 2 cuts were expected this year. But if inflation rises because of higher prices, then we could see interest rates staying higher for longer.
Afia, I want to say thank you very much. We'll be back again for more updates. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's all this hour. But to remember, you can send your eyewitness reports to the WhatsApp number on your screens now. And to follow us on social media, we are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV Channel 422, GoTV Channel 23, Star Times Channel 274, Avo TV, and on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. My name is Mazino Appeal.